Hey, it's Evie. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is the in-between period, that period of time between you intending and you receiving your manifestation. What do you do in that in-between time? How do you handle that? Firstly, you handle it by not over-intending. So you set your intention, you decide that you want your ex back, your specific person, or anything that you want in life. You decide what that is, what it is that you want, and you get the feeling and you do some of your manifestation techniques. That's absolutely fine, the ones that make you feel good. But I suggest that you don't do them for much longer than 3, 4, 5 days max, then let it go. And I know that's not so easy to say let it go. You probably still will be a little bit attached. But by stopping over-intending, you will start releasing that attachment. I promise you, you will. And that is the key here. Don't over-intend. Don't over-visualize feeling like you have to do it over and over and over. Otherwise, the universe will decide that you don't actually want this after all. This is what you have to be careful of, and this is what causes attachment. So if you can stop that, all the better. Fear and doubt do not matter. Just let them be there. Accept fear and doubt because we're human beings and we all fear and doubt. It's completely natural. Don't think that you're doing this wrong and that you have to push fear and doubt out. And if you can't, then you'll never get what you want because you will. You've intended it. Reality is there. It has opened that pathway for you. You just have to release somewhat in order to walk down that path. That's as simple as it is, really. I believe this is quantum physics, and I believe reality is changing for you. Every time you decide what you want to do, reality opens up for you. Reality will create a circumstance for you or something in order for you to be able to take that path. But if you get in its way, it can't do it. So key is dealing with your fear and doubt by just saying it's okay for it to be there. It really doesn't matter. You know, there are worse things. Talk to them as if they are entities and say, it's okay, you can be here right now, that's fine, but you won't stop me from getting my manifestation. I'm happy for you to be here for as long as you need to be, but I am still going to get what I want. Don't let your rational brain take over and start thinking that it knows best, because it doesn't. And your brain will tick over and over and over, trying to find a solution for you because it thinks it has one. It thinks somewhere deep in there it has one, but it doesn't. If you've gone 2 days down the track and nothing's happened, your rational brain hasn't been able to find a solution, then it ain't gonna find one, okay? So then you need to leave this to reality, the bigger power, whatever this is, to bring this to you, and talk to your rational brain, talk to it and tell it, well, you don't know, do you? You know, thank you for trying, but you really don't know what I need right now. So, you know, just leave it, have a break, tell it to have a break, talk to it in the nicest possible way, and then speak to reality and say, reality, please can you open up an alternative reality for me. I want to step inside of another reality now, but I'm going to leave that to you as to how that comes, because I don't know, and I don't know the best way to make that happen. So please will you do that for me? And then get that feeling of release, of leaving it to reality. Your mind will still think that it knows best and it will still try. So when you find yourself doing that, you find yourself obsessing, catch yourself and say, I am obsessing. Why am I obsessing? What do I think I'm going to achieve by obsessing like this? And talk to yourself and tell your rational brain, no, stop. There's nothing you can do to help me right now. Just let it go. And then keep trying to distract yourself. This is your in-between chapter. This is your chapter 2. Chapter 1 was your intention. Chapter 2 is your process of what goes on, whatever reality has in plan for you, has in mind for you. And chapter 3 is your manifestation. And your manifestation always comes when you are least expecting it, always. And the reason you are least expecting it is because you are completely detached at that point that it comes. And it shocks and amazes you, even though it shouldn't, because that's just the way that it happens. It still shocks and amazes me now. But doubt won't stop it, fear won't stop it. We're human beings, we doubt, we fear. It doesn't stop us getting what we want, does it? You know, I've doubted plenty of things and still got them. You know, I probably doubt pretty much everything, actually, even though I know I'm going to get it. I still have that doubt feeling, especially if I've been waiting a few weeks or even a couple of months. I do start to get a bit of doubt, but I know, and I knock it out and I think, you know, and I just let it be there, and then it goes naturally, and it might come back a few days later, but it just goes again. You know, I'm not perfect at this. I'm not some kind of guru, you know. I'm just doing this in the best way that I can and passing that on to you, and hopefully it works for you too. I've also been asked, can you date in that in-between period? And yes, you certainly can date, and it will not affect your manifestation, not in a negative way, but it might affect it in a positive way, because you are boosting your self-esteem by seeing other people and having fun with other people, and you are distracting yourself. So your energy changes. Your energy is you are a higher vibration. You're having more fun. That energy goes out there into the universe, or whatever you think this is, and works for you in your favor, never against you. So once you've set that intention, it's going to come hell or high water. It's coming. There's nothing you can do to stop it. So you might meet somebody else and fall for somebody else, but then that specific person will still come to you. Is then your choice whether you see them again or whatever. Then that will be totally your choice, and you'll be like, oh, now it happens. But it's going to happen. Once you've set that intention, it's going to happen, and there is nothing that's going to stop it. I get a feeling of momentum now, and I wait for that. So I have this process. So I decide what I want, and I intend it, and I imagine having it, and I get the feeling of having it, but I only do this for a few minutes, and I might visualize it a bit. I don't always visualize it, actually. I used to do that a lot, but I don't always do that now. So I get the feeling of it. I sort of sit with that feeling as if I had it for a few minutes, and then I wait for this feeling of, it's done, I've got it. I've mentioned the author Richard Dotts before, and his book It Is Done is really, really great, so I thoroughly recommend that, because that really worked for me when I read that. It is done. So I get that feeling of it is done, and then I know that I can let it go. I've built up enough momentum, and I know that thing's coming to me. It's coming. There's nothing that's going to stop it now. It's coming, and I have no idea of the timing of that, because I have had things take a couple of months, and then I've had things take a couple of days, and the things that have taken a couple of months have been much simpler, littler things, and the things that have taken a few days have been huge things. So I just don't understand myself why that is the case, but it is. I have no idea why. Maybe it just comes at the perfect time, and that perfect time could be a couple of days, but that perfect time could be a couple of months. So, enjoy that middle period and think of it as the fun time, the magic time. The magic is being put into place for you. Don't get in its way by obsessing and over-intending, and, because you'll make yourself feel bad anyway. And once you feel rubbish, then you're not going to get your intentions. So you need to let that go as much as you possibly can. Have fun with it and decide that this is magic. What else can you do? What has your rational brain been able to do so far? Nothing. So just ditch that idea that your brain is going to come up with a solution, because it isn't. If there is something that you need to do, then reality will send you that opportunity to do whatever it is you need to do in order to bring this thing into your life. But if it doesn't, then there's nothing you need to do. Just try to accept the fact that you don't need to do anything, and think how amazing that is, that something is doing this for you, and you don't have to do a thing to make this happen. How amazing is that you can just let this go to something else, and try to get that feeling of relief and release you get when you hand something over to somebody, because you can't do anything else yourself. And then just don't stress about the time thing, because as soon as you stress about the time, you kick in attachment. You kick in attachment to the outcome, and then that's when you don't get the outcome. And you could be stuck in that middle time for months and months and months, years and years and years, if you don't learn how to let go and learn to practice giving it over to something else, so that you get periods of time when you'll let go, and then eventually those will get longer and longer and longer, and that's how you manifest. As usual, please do go to my website, visit me there, select general inquiry from the drop down. I'm more than happy to answer any of your queries, or if you need some clarification, then I'm more than happy to do that for you. Or you can come next week. My coaching section will be live, so you can log in there and register there if you'd like to do that. So there's lots of things going on at the moment, but I'm more than happy to help you. But do know that this is a middle period. It's not a waiting period. Don't see it as a waiting period. See it as the time where you can just relax and sit back, and yes, say the odd affirmation if it makes you feel good, and have the odd imagination if you're taken over with an urge to do it, but don't force it. Never force anything. You don't manifest by forcing. Good luck.